listening to the Fun with Horror podcast with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Hello, beautiful Fun with Horror family, friends, everyone. Welcome to the weekly movie review podcast where Scotty and we each take turns giving each other movies to watch, and then we discuss them the following week. We have two rules, and that is whoever picks the next movie has to pick one that they have never seen. And then the other rule is that we both have to watch it. Last one was my pick, and I chose one that I had missed in 2021 and was very excited about it. And that is the 2021 movie Censor, directed by Prano Bailey Bond and starring Niamh Algar. And stay tuned, of course, to the end of this episode where Scotty will tell us the pick for next week's movie. But without further ado, hi, bud.
Hi.
Hi.
Andrew, I'm going to eat this cookie here.
Yes, good.
And I'm going to listen to you because I think you have some news.
I do. We are changing the podcast to ASMR with horror.
Can you hear me eat the cookie?
I'm listening.
Or am I doing it quietly enough?
You're doing it quietly enough, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But you know that people are out there going, oh, I wish it was louder. Yeah, you're right. So big news for me, and people that are friends with me on Facebook already know this, but I have a baby on the way, man.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I know a little mini horror fan will be in our lives in mid-September. So pretty exciting. I know, but Cindy, my wife, was like, are you going to bring it up on the podcast anytime soon? I said, yeah, okay, yeah, I will.
This isn't fun with babies.
It's not. It's not
Although
fun.
it's going to be in about 7 months or so.
I'm going to have to edit out a lot of crying in the background, which is going to be fun, but
Dude, I can't wait.
me too, man. I'm already
Wait.
I'm planning my Fridays of just we don't know sex yet, so boy or girl, but just planning my Fridays because I have those off and we record of just having the baby there, watching a scary movie with the baby.
If it's a girl, please call her Sydney.
Sydney.
So that the first thing I can ever say to her is, hello, Sydney.
Dude, that'd be so cool.
Please.
All right. Well, we'll have Cindy. Cindy will listen to this episode when it comes out on Tuesday, and we'll see what she says.
See how cool that sounds? Cindy in Sydney.
Cindy in Sydney? Oh, my goodness.
Dude, that would be so hard to say.
I know. and then it's like my parents always had a hard time with my brother and I because it was Alex and Andrew, and they always just called us each other's names. I know, but
oh well, yeah, but you know,
so I'll be like,
all parents do that.
That's true. That's true.
My mom calls me my uncle's name. Speaking of uncles, I'm gonna get to be one of those fake uncles.
What does that mean?
You know that you'll call me Uncle Scotty.
Oh, with me.
To little Scotty.
Of
or
course.
Little Sydney.
Dude, yes.
But I won't really be an uncle.
But yes, right. But you will.
He or she will grow up thinking that I'm an uncle. And you're like, well, no, not really, not by blood. We just call you that because everybody's an uncle. See that cat over there? That's Uncle Ziggy, the horror cat.
Oh, yes. I love that. Ziggy the horror cat. Uncle Ziggy the horror cat.
Poor Bowie. Just because Bowie isn't loud enough,
right?
Ziggy becomes the mascot.
Yeah.
Of Fun with Horror.
Ziggy.
You hear that, Ziggy? You're the mascot. You're Ziggy the horror cat. Congratulations.
Ziggy is definitely, the extrovert of the two.
Sorry, I didn't mean to turn away from the microphone.
That's all right. No, you're okay. But yeah, so there you go. That's my news. Ta-da!
I have no news.
Oh, okay.
I got nothing.
Well, you have a cookie.
I've got a cookie. I've been on a David Cronenberg kick ever since we watched Titan. So I watched Crash last week.
Oh,
funny story, Andrew.
Lay it on me, man.
The first time I saw Crash, hated it. But then I just had a feeling, so I bought the Criterion Collection Blu-ray. Paid money for a movie that I once hated.
Beautiful.
And sure enough, when I watched it again, I got it.
Nice.
And I thought this movie has a lot of sex in it, and it's brilliant.
That was actually, that's how people described it on the Criterion Collection cover.
Yeah. That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
A lot of people have sex in this movie, and it's brilliant.
So good, dude.
That's like every movie we've ever done.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, what'd you guys think of Censor? People have sex in it, and it's brilliant. Speaking of people having sex,
Uh-oh.
we have a lot of new listeners. And it's...
What a segue. Oh, man.
No, it's great. I can only assume, I'm just looking at our downloads, and I see like people, like 3 people on a certain day listening to the Deep House. And I'm like, why? Unless it's like one person that's like, I liked it so much, I'm going to listen again.
Right?
The Deep House.
So
It's my
aggressive.
favorite movie. But anyway, to all the new listeners out there, thank you so much.
Yes.
And as always, we're going to say this every week probably.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like the show, leave us a nice little review on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, please.
Hey, we'll read your review out loud on the podcast. You'll be famous
That's true.
to the 10 people that listen to us.
Hey, we're at least 15.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Those 5 new ones we got this week.
But I don't care.
I know.
Even if only 2 people listen to us,
It's worth it.
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
If it was one person, I'd be sad because that means that one of our significant others doesn't ever listen to us. If we have 2 listeners, at least we know it's our significant others.
That's true. That's true.
And then they just later on, they're like, oh, yeah, it was good.
Yep. Yeah. It was fine. I fast forwarded most of it, but it was okay.
Why didn't you announce the baby?
Right.
Sorry, that's not what Cindy sounds like. But
Be careful. She's pregnant, so.
yeah.
Ugh.
No, but okay, but really,
Yeah.
that's not what Cindy sounds like. But like when I was saying that, I was picturing like a comic book
Yeah.
frame of your wife getting really upset at you for not mentioning the baby, and that was the interpretation.
Oh, brilliant. No, actually, the way she said it was just, are you going to do it? Like, just as a question. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'd like to
Well,
tell
there you
my
go.
horror family about this.
Baby Scotty or baby Sydney? Cindy, I know you're listening, so there's your names for you. Whatever name you pick out, you can throw it in the middle.
There you go. Yep.
All right, let's talk about a movie.
Sounds good.
Doug Smart, producer, Ident Investment Films. Maybe Enid could watch my latest Frederick North submission. Wanted a woman's eye on his film.
There's his actress. I've got this feeling that's Nina. Oh, my sister.
Okay, so, Andrew,
Scotty.
as we've mentioned, last week you picked Censor. Censor.
Censor.
Censor. Directed by Prano Bailey Bond, or Prano Bailey Bond.
Prano. Yes, Prano, I think.
One of the 2.
Yes, yep.
So before we go into anything, buddy,
Yeah.
we're doing a thing for the second week in a row.
Yeah, man.
It's our new segment. It's the 3 minutes or less recap.
Yes.
But before we do that, let's just warn everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is a full movie recap, so we're gonna spoil this movie.
Yes.
If you haven't seen Censor, it's on Hulu. You have no excuse. Go watch the movie, unless you don't care about being spoiled. Either way, we're going to spoil it, and now you've been warned.
Nice.
You beautiful people out there.
Aren't they beautiful?
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. So, Andrew.
Yes.
Let me grab my Let me grab my watch here, my phone. I
Okay.
don't have a watch, by the way.
Nice.
You have 3 minutes.
Oh boy.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm nervous though. I like you said last week. We don't prepare this, so I have nothing written. This is just.
All right, go.
Oh, geez. Okay. So our movie starts out with Enid, who works to censor movies. So she's the one that goes through and cuts pieces out and rates them so that they can go out. And this movie takes place in, I believe, 1985. So it's when the video nasties were a big thing. During this time, though, we find out that Enid has a sister that's been missing since she was a child. Enid and her sister went out to the forest when they were young. Her sister went missing and has not been heard from since. Throughout the movie, again, she slowly unravels, if you will, and so she notices one girl walking and she thinks it might be her sister. She then watches this movie and is going to censor it, and it brings back all these memories from the time she was out in the woods with her sister, and then she watches another movie by the same director that made that one, and in this movie there's a redheaded character, and she, Enid, believes that it is her sister. Her missing sister is now an actress. In her head she believes this, and this is her. She wants to find her. So she goes and meets with the producer of the movie, where some interesting things happen and ensue, which we'll get into. He dies. And then she goes to the movie set, where she finds the girl that she believes may be her sister. She, again, like I said, slowly unravels throughout this movie. So at this point, everyone thinks she's an actress on the set. She goes in this scene with this quote-unquote sister, or the actress she believes to be her sister. There's a bad guy there that's going to, attack the sister, and he's an actor. And Enid takes an axe to him and kills the actor. And then the director comes in freaking out, and she takes an axe to him and kills the director. And then the actress, who Enid believes is her sister, books it, runs out. Enid is freaking out. She goes outside, trips, falls, really wants her sister and thinks it's her sister, and all of a sudden a remote shows up in her hand, and everything gets great. All of a sudden the actress comes back, and Enid is like, it is my sister, and you get this shot at the end of her driving with her quote-unquote sister to their parents' house. And throughout this really beautiful montage, kind of at the end, you hear on the radio that crime doesn't exist and there's rainbows everywhere and everyone's happy. But then you'll get these little glitches where you see Enid's quote-unquote sister freaking out in the car, and it turns out Enid has kidnapped this girl and is taking her to her parents, where we see that the ending shot is the sister asking Enid's parents for help. You don't hear anything. It's all music in the background as Enid slowly turns the camera and smiles. There we go.
Oh, my God. Dude, you did that with 4 seconds left.
Serious?
Yeah. Were you not timing yourself?
Oh, no, I forgot.
Yeah, you got to time yourself.
I do.
Because otherwise at 3 minutes I have to cut you off.
Oh, dude.
And then
okay.
nobody will know how the movie ends. But that was wonderful, buddy.
Thanks, man. That was really nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie.
4 seconds left. Wow.
Dang.
You did that in 2 minutes and 56 seconds.
That was really long. Man, I'm going to probably listen to this and hear a lot of ums, ers.
No, you're not.
All right.
You're going to hear perfection, my friend.
Stop it.
I could not have done it better.
Stop that. Thank you.
Okay, so what, Andrew,
Yeah.
did you think? Now that you've given us this recap, what did you think of Censor?
So I'll say this. My initial thought when I first watched it was okay. Then I watched it a second time, and I really, now knowing kind of the story, rewatching it, I thought it was brilliant. I really loved this movie.
My buddy.
Yeah. What about you? What'd you think?
Speaking of my buddy, do you remember those dolls?
I had a buddy
No.
doll.
You did?
I did.
I was about to say that maybe you're too young for my buddy.
Nope. I had Buddy. He had his little fishing pole and everything.
But this is not about my buddy. This is about Censor. Sorry.
That's
It's a
okay.
little- I just thought of that because I said my buddy.
Well,
okay, I
buddy.
think I liked Censor a little bit more than you did the first time.
Okay.
Other than that, my reaction was pretty much the same.
Nice. Okay.
I had some issues the first time that I thought were issues.
Mm-hmm.
The second time, they all went away.
Nice.
I also thought the movie was brilliant. I really enjoyed watching it the second time and like paying super close attention to different things. And that said, I don't know about you, buddy, but I have a hard time thinking of any negatives for this movie. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but
I don't have any. I thought the same thing. The only thing, and it's not a negative at all.
yeah.
But my only thing is, if someone hasn't watched this and they want to, I would say it's a slow crawl movie. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
action through the whole thing. So if you know that, I just don't want anyone going oh, blood and guts and it's gonna be crazy. It's a slow crawl, but it's worth it.
I would absolutely agree with that. And I was going to say the same thing. Look
Aw.
at us.
Look
We're
at-
like the same brain right now.
We are.
I love it.
I love it.
Anyway, yeah. I'm blushing. Yeah, as I was going to say, I was going to say the same thing. If you only watch it one time, somebody like you said may find it to be a little bit of a slow crawl. Not a lot happens until the end.
Right.
And some things feel very ambiguous.
Yes, that's very true.
There was things I was sitting there wondering, like, why? Okay, but why? Like just for instance, I really didn't catch why she even was on this movie set, and it seemed like everybody was expecting her there.
Right.
But I got it the second time. You know?
Yeah.
So that's about it. I mean, otherwise, let's just scream to the heavens how much we love this movie.
Yes, dude. Well, I got to throw out the first thing that happens, which
Yeah.
we did this in another movie too. It was Candyman's intro.
Yeah.
The new was it it was the new one. Yeah. Anyway, I really loved seeing the production companies at the beginning because it looked like a VHS film.
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah, dude! It just brought back a whole lot of memories. So I loved that.
And
the
last logo that they show, there's a quick cut, and you see somebody in that cut.
What? I didn't.
Like one of those little static cuts that happens at the end of the movie. It happens during the first logo, and I tried to pause it. It was very hard on my iPad, and even on my TV, it's difficult. But so I'm not sure what that freeze frame really is because the image that I did see, I wasn't very familiar with it. So I'm not sure if it meant anything. But let me just tell you, buddy.
Yeah, please.
At some point in this podcast, I may just blow your mind a little bit.
Okay.
But we'll get there.
Oh, no, I'm already excited to hear that, but I've been excited to talk about this movie, so that makes me even more. I'm thrilled, dude. I'm so pumped.
So yeah, it was a great movie.
It was. Yeah. The end. Thank you, everyone. Again, Censor's on Hulu.
No issues at all.
Yeah. Go watch it. What's your pick of the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Anyway.
My pick is Censor.
Oh. Okay.
Because we haven't talked about it yet.
Oh, you're
Jeez.
right. Sorry.
Come on, man.
My
Come
bad.
on.
Sorry.
Tell me some things you liked.
Okay. So right away, I noticed the color scheme of this movie, which was kind of that dark. It was dark, like a dark blue tint, sort of. But I loved the reds in this movie. They popped so well against the blues. And it was typically during a scene when something was going to happen or happening. And it just gave it this atmosphere that I was all about. I thought it was gorgeous.
Especially in the last 30 minutes, it very much started to remind me of a Giallo movie.
Yes. Oh, very good. Yes. Well done. I didn't even think of that, dude. That's perfect.
Yeah, it totally did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're so smart. I will say, looking at her job, I was like, how do I get that job? Because that's awesome.
Right?
They just
But see, that's the brilliance of this movie, though.
Yeah.
the job itself. Like, I was so fascinated by it because I'm fascinated by the whole video nasties thing.
Right.
And for anybody out there that doesn't know what we're talking about, the video nasties was this era in the 80s when, especially in England, they were blaming a lot of violence and crime on horror movies, and especially these low-budget, very gory horror movies with a lot of shock value in them. And they were trying to get them either banned or censored. And so this movie, like, that's what Enid does. She is a censor who is paid to watch these video nasty horror movies and either ban them or decide what needs to be cut from them, so that when some young person watches them at home, they won't go killing somebody.
Right.
And of course, like, the whole question comes up, okay, so these video nasties are not appropriate for people at home, but what effect is it having on these censors who are sitting watching movie after movie after movie of this gross stuff, this gore and violence and rape and murder and all this stuff. And yeah,
it's dark.
it's dark.
It's dark. But what's funny is, like, a movie like this where it's called Censor, and it's about someone that has to censor these things out. They're really, whenever she does the censoring or they watch the movies, you really don't see much. They really at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even one scene, you see someone about to be, something bad is going to happen to someone.
Raped.
Yeah, raped.
And you hear it.
And you hear it, but, like, right when they show it, it cuts to their faces, which I appreciated that they weren't going to show that. But yeah, it was.
But as usual, it's almost just as bad because it leaves it to your imagination.
That's true.
And you're just
true.
seeing the reaction
That's true.
on their Enid's face and the other lady's face.
That's true. That's a good point.
But yeah, the whole censor office was amazing. The sound design, when they're walking through the hallways and, like, instead of normal work sounds, all you hear are, like, constant, like, females screaming from these movies and being murdered, and, like, it's as much as I would love to watch horror movies all day,
Right.
the way it's depicted in the movie, it would start to wear on a person.
That's true. I just right when they walked into that little, I don't know, makeshift theater, I guess. It's just a few seats and a projector and stuff. But I was like, oh, that looks fun.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Cool. But another thing that I really liked in this movie was the cinematography. I felt like every shot in this movie had someone or something dead center throughout this whole movie. And I felt like aesthetically it was so pleasing to my eyes that I really appreciated it. But yeah, every shot I feel like whoever was talking or whoever was in the shot was dead center. Pretty much the whole movie.
And I know you probably want to mention it at some point, but I feel like it's part of the cinematography. But I thought near the end of the movie when Enid starts to really unravel, it's basically when she arrives at the trailer.
Yes. Yep.
When she thinks she's going to Frederick North's house, and she gets there, and there's a trailer there, and she's basically near the movie set. And the way the pillar boxes on the side start to just gradually move in to show that Enid is starting to kind of see things. And yeah, that was, and until it's completely 4x3.
Yeah. Yep. And at first, no, I didn't catch it at first. Then, like, as it slowly moved in, but right at the end, I was like, "Wait, what happened?" And then the second time watch, I went, "Oh, okay, there we go." But I was like,
for me, when I was watching that scene, it was more of a case where I was sitting there thinking, like, "Oh, there's some black bars on the sides of the screen. Wouldn't that be really cool if it just kept gradually going in?"
Nice.
And then it did, and I was like, "Yeah!" I was so excited.
Dude, that's awesome. I love
they
it.
listened to me.
Yeah, they did. There was one
Yeah.
scene I have to bring up though that I loved because it was used again later.
Okay.
Which is the scene where she's yelling for the girl that or not yelling, but just says "excuse me" and is seeing if the woman walking in the, I guess you'd tunnel like hallway.
Yeah. The tunnel.
Right. Yeah. But I love the shot because she calls for her and realizes it's not her missing sister. But then you see her walk, and she's walking on the line, and I was like, oh, she's. The second time I watched it, I caught it where I went, oh, she's kind of stumbles a little bit on the line and goes right and left. And I was like, oh, she's walking the line. She's totally, like, losing it, possibly. And then later when she's in the tunnel again, she looks down that dark hallway and just goes into it. And I was like, oh, she's off. She's like, now she's, fully committed to crazy.
I felt that was the moment.
Yeah,
I felt that was a very significant moment because she hears the whimpering.
Right. Yes.
She hears like a girl whimpering, and yeah, it's weird at first because she just walks off down this tunnel and it's dark, and then the next thing you know, she's at her home.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the symbolism the second time, yeah, you realize that was the moment that she just decided to leave reality, basically.
Right. Yep.
And she didn't want to deal with reality. She knew her sister was alive, and these movies were confusing her, and yeah, it was so crazy.
Yeah. But I like the first time I saw that though, and that was one of the things. The first time I watched it, I was like, that's weird. But it wasn't until I knew kind of the ending when I rewatched it again, I was like, oh, very cool. Like I loved it. I loved it. Oh, it was so good.
I like the idea. I like the overall idea and meaning behind the name of the movie.
Uh-huh.
Because on the surface, obviously, it's about a woman who is a censor.
Right,
That's what she does. But then you realize that she is a censor who has censored her own memories.
Exactly.
And there's constant... When you start to realize that, and especially the second time you watch it, there's constantly little things that you hear about. And like, for instance, when she goes to her work and she's called into her boss's office.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a simple thing. He's closing the blinds.
Right.
To talk to just her and the other guy. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, he's censoring the conversation from other people.
Nice, dude.
And I just think about that, and I don't know if that's on purpose, but the movie just really gets into your head like that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Obviously, the Amnesiac Killer, they talk about, when they start talking about this guy who seemingly copycatted a scene that he saw in a video Nasties horror movie, he says that he doesn't even know what happened, that he's forgotten everything that he did. And they talk about how people that go through something so horrific and traumatizing, they just block it out of their memory.
Right.
And of course, the ridiculousness of it is that it's revealed later on that he had never even seen the movie in question. So shows the ridiculousness of trying to censor these movies, thinking that they're the reason that people are doing things when they're not. And, we'll get into that a little bit too.
Yeah, for sure. I have a couple notes on that.
But you were talking about that you don't see much in the movies. And this is just a little tiny thing that I appreciated.
Yeah.
Because I'm a horror movie fan and all.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning, when they're showing like a little montage of some of these movies.
Yep.
One of the movies you see is a movie that I've never seen. And it's called The Driller Killer.
Yeah.
It's one I saw in the video stores, and I always thought it would be such a hardcore movie. And I'll tell you something, buddy.
Yeah.
When I was watching the movie the second time, I went to iTunes during that moment.
Uh-huh.
And Driller Killer was only $3, so I bought it.
Did you?
So we can watch Driller Killer anytime we want.
Yeah. Well, I have never seen that either, so sweet.
Neither have I. And now for my next movie.
Yeah.
No.
But I like to, and I did like the opening credits where it did show a bunch of these older horror movies with all these pretty
Yeah.
gruesome kills. But that, yeah, like I said, that's
And
kind
it
of all
seemed
you
like
get.
it seemed like it threw in a couple scenes from fictional movies that
Yeah.
don't exist.
Yep. I thought that too. I
Um,
wasn't sure, but I thought probably.
The other thing, going back to the censorship, I wanted
No,
to mention
please.
Driller Killer, but the censor thing, I wrote down even this, like when Enid was on the subway,
Mm-hmm.
there's the guy and his girlfriend, or the guy and the girl arguing
Oh, right. Yep.
loudly, and the way Enid's looking at them and stuff. And I wrote down, does Enid think they should censor themselves?
Oh, nice.
So I went down a rabbit hole with that.
Oh, dude, I love that. Oh my gosh, now I want to watch it again.
Watch it again.
I will. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good though. This movie has so much.
It has a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's time. I'm gonna maybe. I don't even know if this is really that mind blowing,
Okay, I'm excited.
but I went down a rabbit hole
Yeah, man.
because I had no idea what this meant.
Okay.
But there is a shot of Enid. I think it's the second time you see her on the train, and she's reading a paper.
Yes.
I paused it and looked at the picture on the cover of the paper because the lead story is about video nasties and such.
Right.
And the picture, strangely, is a screenshot or a still from The Strangers.
I thought that. I saw that picture and I was like, that looks a lot like the killer in Strangers. I swear I thought that.
And it was absolutely from The Strangers.
What? Why?
So here's the thing. And allow me to digress a little bit here.
Dude, yes, I'm so excited right now because I saw that too and I was like, that's weird.
Okay, so take off your pants.
Okay.
No. So this is the rabbit hole I went down.
Okay.
I started looking up why the strangers might appear in this movie, because this movie takes place in 1985.
Right.
The movie The Strangers, I believe, takes place in 2004.
Yeah, it was definitely
But-
early 2000s.
yeah.
Yep.
But what was The Strangers inspired by? Because one of the whole ideas of The Strangers was that it was inspired by actual true events, things that
True.
could happen. And one of those events that I looked up
Mm-hmm.
is called the Ketty Cabin Murders. And so I started reading about these murders and what happened.
Okay.
And basically, have you seen the sequel, Strangers Prey at
I
Night?
have. Yeah, I have.
Okay, so
Yep.
I need to now watch that again because evidently they took the story that inspired the first Strangers, one
Mhm.
of the three main stories, I guess, and they almost based the second movie entirely on that. Because
Oh.
in the Ketty Cabin murders, there's a mom. She's got 5 kids. Two of them are there's like it's kind of confusing. You have to read it. And I
Okay.
don't have every bit of it written down, but basically this mom and 3 of her children were murdered in a
Yikes.
cabin in this area that has a lot of cabins,
Okay.
much like the location in The Strangers Prey at Night.
Right.
And it really baffled police for a while because, first of all, the mom was like, it was horrific.
Mm-hmm.
She and these 2 kids were strangled, beaten, stabbed,
Oh, go.
and they were found dead by another one of her daughters
Oh,
who was out that
jeez.
night and came home.
Ugh.
And strangely enough, there were 3 kids in the bedroom that were not dead.
Oh,
They had seemingly slept through it all, except for one of the kids who later said that he thought maybe he was dreaming that somebody was tying up his mom.
Oh my
But then
gosh.
later thought maybe it's real. And then another daughter who went missing. So one of the daughters went missing.
Okay.
And a fragment of her skull was found like 2 years later, I believe, or maybe even more, much later, and like 100 miles away. But they determined that it definitely was her.
Oh my gosh.
So much later, there's a documentary about this case that I haven't seen, but there is basically, and now we are a true crime podcast, I guess. There's evidence that leads towards these two men who may have committed the murders, and they both are dead by now.
Okay.
Not from being arrested or anything like that. They're dead. So I don't know. I don't know the outcome of this case, if they are absolutely considered the murderers.
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically it. So that really got me thinking, like, does it have something to do with that? Is there just a parallel between, like, the little girl being missing, later found dead? I don't really know what it means.
Man.
But I think it's incredibly interesting that she chose to put a still from The Strangers on the front of this paper in 1985.
Wow.
And the only other little coincidence that has to do with that is that the main suspect, of the two men, the main suspect, the man who supposedly told his wife at some point that some things that would lead you to believe that he performed was a key person in performing these murders.
Right.
His name was Martin Smart. And the producer that Enid kind of accidentally kills is named Doug Smart.
You're right.
I don't know, man.
Oh my gosh, dude. Whoa.
I just don't know. I don't know what and let's just say it, the church, so the church in the woods or whatever.
Yeah.
That's in the movie or in the movie within the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It doesn't really look like a church. It looks like a cabin.
It does look like a cabin. Yep.
So I don't know, man.
Whoa.
I really want to talk to Prano Bailey Bond and say, hey, what's the deal with The Strangers? What does it have to do with the Ketty cabin murders?
Yes, dude. Okay.
Maybe she's just obsessed with that case. And
maybe.
So
I genuinely, when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, someone on this must have worked on the movie or something. But, oh, that's awesome. This is way...
I don't know if she's on Twitter, but I think I'm gonna tweet at her.
Please.
If she is.
Well, definitely.
And say, hey, what does Censor have to do with the Ketty cabin murders?
Right. Dude,
because
she might
honestly,
love that.
She might. Because I looked up, I Googled Censor and The Strangers, and I came across this one Reddit post, which different news outlets, like little blog outlets, they found and they posted about it, but nobody really knew. And nobody went too deep into it.
Interesting.
So there you go.
Dude, yeah, you may have just man, maybe you'll even blow her mind. She'll be like, yes, no one caught this. Oh my gosh.
I'm sure somebody else did.
No one did.
No one.
That's
But
so
it was
cool,
fun.
though.
It's fun. I was watching the movie the second time on my iPad, and I also caught things like when she's sitting there reading a diary. After she gets Nina, she pulls out Nina's her memorabilia from her sister,
Right.
and all that.
Yep.
And I was actually able to pause and read the page of her diary.
Oh.
That has to do, and it's basically her writing to her missing sister, saying, "Nina, please come back."
Interesting.
And then she says that, I have it written down. She says that she was just playing a game, and she's sorry that she pushed Nina into playing it, and that she just wants her to come home.
Interesting. And actually, that I will say, I still wonder this if she had something to do with her sister's death or missing, but I think death.
That seems to be a popular theory and interpretation that she had something to do, and that's the Amnesiac Killer kind of leads you to that to that theory.
Right.
Because that was a person that did something horrible and blocked it out of his memory.
Right.
And then possibly she did the same.
Yeah.
And blocked it out of her memory.
Man.
So who knows?
I know. And it's funny because this, you know me with ambiguity when in movies. Like, I usually want a pretty clear-cut answer.
Yeah.
And this one I was okay with. I went with it, and I was like, I liked all the symbolism, and I liked all that more that I just didn't care that there wasn't on some of the things, just like a clear-cut answer.
Maybe you're evolving.
Maybe, man. Maybe these movies are helping me to change.
Maybe it's time to go search for the hidden meanings behind Psycho Goreman.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
All right. She goes in the video store at the one point in the movie. She goes in the video store looking for video nasties.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Movies that are banned. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me.
The picture on the cover?
Yes.
Yeah, I caught that one. I was like, that's the
And
end
of course
of the movie.
you don't see that the first time, but yeah, everybody out there, if you've only seen the movie once, she picks up a video cassette of a movie called The Day the World Began.
Yes.
And the picture that is on the front of that video cassette is exactly how she pictures her parents standing in front of their house at the end of the movie.
So
Loved
good.
it.
So
Loved
good.
it.
Yep. Yes. I had that same note.
But yeah, I loved the way. See, the first time I watched the movie, yeah, it was like ambiguous, and I wasn't sure what was going on. But when you watch it the second time, watching her just descend into madness,
Yeah.
it's so brilliant, man.
Yeah. Yes. And I loved. Well, I didn't love. Let me rephrase that. So I like what they did with. Maybe not, but I felt like there was a lot of almost like a PTSD, aspect in this movie with her. Like certain times, for instance, the phone rings and she gets yelled at by angry people.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it cuts to her as a kid hearing the phone ring right after her parents are like, "Where is your sister? Where is your sister?" There was a few moments like that where it did kind of some cuts, and I didn't write them, but I was like, "Oh man, is she?" I don't know. It just felt like she had some sort of PTSD with this, and everything brought back those memories and those feelings.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
And then she just started thinking that everything that was happening in these movies had to do with her sister.
Right.
And it got bad enough to where she even, I think when she's getting her makeup done.
Oh, right.
Yep. She gets to the movie set, and the makeup girl thinks that she's an actress. And she's getting her makeup done, and she looks down at a paper, and it shows her going into the video store.
Right. Yep.
And the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, they're really following her." But then the second time, I realized, "Oh, that's she." Now she thinks that everybody's watching her too.
Yep. Totally.
So. And now this is something I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't catch, but I read it on a theory online, and I loved it.
Ooh,
but,
let's hear it.
So when she kills the Beast Man,
right? Yeah. Yep.
And his heart, she looks at him lying there, and his heart actually talks to her.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
And it says, "I am the horror."
Right.
And somebody online said that what that means is that everybody's blaming the horrors that people do on video cassettes, on these movies, and later on in life on music and whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But all the real horror just lies within a person's heart.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, because that scene, I just went with it like, oh, she's crazy.
Yeah, but
point.
no, it's the heart saying, like, I am the real horror.
Oh.
Like, the horror is in your heart, not in any movie that you watch.
That's good.
Right?
Ooh, this movie, dude.
This movie.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
What else you got?
Honestly, I don't have much else. Like I said, I had nothing bad to say about it. And this one, I got my big points out, but I had such a, it was just such, it's a slow crawl to like a kind of horrific finish.
Yeah.
But a fun slow crawl. You're enthralled the whole time, and I
And a sad finish.
It is. Oh, very, very.
It's very sad. But I think, the way that she did those VHS cuts showing what's really happening, the second time especially, it's just brilliant. It's just amazing.
And actually, the first time I watched it, it scared me. And not like I jumped, but I just went, oh, that's what's happening. Like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Now,
scary.
I will say one thing that's slightly negative.
Oh, okay. Please.
And it's not super negative, but it's just something that's been a theme in some of the movies we've watched.
Okay.
This is another movie that the score, I think, is good. Like, I'm enjoying the score as I'm watching the movie.
Right.
But then it turns out that the music that I really like isn't even part of the composed score.
Again?
So the score was composed by, and I might butcher this, but it's Emilie Levienaise-Farrouch.
That works. I like it.
And it's good. It's dark. It's ominous. But then the best piece of music for me in the entire movie was at the end.
Oh, yeah.
There's just this beautiful, beautiful music that swells when she's driving with her sister and at the house. And when I went to add the soundtrack to my library, I was so excited to hear that piece of music. And it turns out it's a piece of music by an artist named Blank Mass, who I've heard of. I know Blank Mass. And it's a piece off of I think it's one of his early albums.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, it's a bummer. Malignant did the same thing. I think The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, kind of did that too.
Yep.
Where I was at times impressed with the score only to find out that the pieces that I really liked weren't part of the score.
Yep.
I don't know.
Does
But
it now
other
that
than that,
yeah, but after you said that, now thinking about that song, it totally, and we might cut this because it's not really a spoiler, I guess, but it really reminded me of a scene in Carrie, the original.
okay, you can a scene near the end.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we don't have to say what the scene
Right,
is.
right, but just
because
that
we're not gonna
happy
spoil any other movie.
music and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
It
see,
just
now that was all the same composer. That was all Pino Donaggio, who also composed the score to Tourist Trap, our first episode.
Oh, a
Bum, bum.
callback.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum. Oh, man. I watched the beginning of that again today. and
Did
I
you
just-
really?
That score.
Yes, that score is the most. Oh my gosh.
My final thing I'm going to say about Censor that I
Yes.
really loved, it was a nice touch, is when the movie ends, it cuts to a shot of a VCR and a tape
Yes.
being ejected, and it says Censor on the side of the tape.
Yep.
I love the way they did that.
That was a perfect way to end that movie. It was perfect.
I love this movie.
Me too, man. I got nothing but good things.
Good pick.
Thanks, buddy. All right, should we jump to our 3 questions?
Yes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
All right. This is your movie, so
Yes.
number 1, what was your favorite kill or death?
Like mentioned, there was only really a few, but I really enjoyed Doug Smart's
Oh,
death.
yeah.
The trophy. through the
Describe
head.
it.
Well, yeah. Well, he tries to force himself on Enid,
Yeah.
and she pushes him, and he falls backwards on a trophy, and the trophy sticks out of his mouth as if it's gone through his head and out of his mouth, which I was like, that's pretty cool. So yeah,
And it was pretty horrific the way he like gargles on his own blood too.
yeah, that's true.
But that also brings up, and that's also my favorite kill.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
But it also brings up something I loved about this movie, especially the second time.
Ooh, okay.
Like the second time, I really noticed that it's simply just this old guy who is this like dirtbag that just
Right.
wants to try and sleep with her. He thinks she's only coming over because she's giving into his amazing manly ways when she's there to dig secrets about her sister, and he has no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, that's something I caught the second time, that nobody knows what she's talking about when she's talking about her sister. They're just like kind of, okay.
Right.
And like when she's in the woods talking to the director,
Mm-hmm.
he's just trying to get an emotion. And when she starts saying, about her sister, he's like, yes, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's the emotion I want. Let's go.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, the death of Doug Smart.
Nice. I actually wondered too. I was like, did everything that they talk about happen in her head as well? Because it's right after the madness, and they talk about his house, and she goes, "This was in a movie. This was a rape scene," and he says, "Yeah." And I was like, is there conversation even happening, or is she putting herself, or like, is she thinking that this is the scene in that movie? You know what I mean? Because she's kind of weaving in and out of things.
I love that. I love that you think that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's up to interpretation,
Right.
but for me, I thought that, no, they just... these are low-budget movies.
Right,
so
right,
they
right.
filmed them
Yeah.
wherever they could, and they just happened to film that one in Doug Smart's house.
Right.
Plus, he loves, as we heard, he loves the gory scenes. He never misses them.
That's true. Yep,
So
you're right.
he would have wanted to be there.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, just made me think about it when she mentioned that it was a scene in a movie, and I was like, oh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Number 2,
Yes.
was this movie scary?
I would say no. No, not for me anyway. More of a thriller. In to me anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was really scary.
I wouldn't even... It's even hard to call it a thriller because I don't know that... Like, the second time was more thrilling than the first. The first time just feels like a mystery.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good word for it.
Like,
yes.
what's happening?
Yep.
Because everything, like you mentioned at the beginning, is such a slow crawl.
Mm-hmm.
But it's engrossing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I also didn't think it was scary. I would say some things are disturbing, like when she's walking through the halls at work and you just hear girls screaming.
Right. Yep.
I know they're just movies, but, yeah, that's disturbing. And I start to picture how that could grate on your mind after day after day after day of doing that.
That's
8
true.
hours a day or more.
Yep.
So
That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
number 3,
Oh boy.
did you have fun with horror?
I really did. I had a great time with this movie. And you?
I think we've said it.
Yeah.
Especially the second time watching it.
Yep.
This is a movie that really, really rewards a second viewing.
Agreed. Absolutely. Yep.
You catch so many little things. And I'm going to say another thing
Ooh, okay.
that I mentioned on our Facebook page because, we have a Facebook page.
We do?
Yeah, it's the Fun with Horror group on Facebook. It's crazy.
Whoa.
Anybody can join.
Anybody?
But you posted a post about this movie, about your pick, and you posted you posted. I don't know how many times I can use posted in a sentence.
I did. I posted it. Mm-hmm.
Because then I was going to say you posted the poster
Oh,
for
man.
the movie. Yeah, it was getting to be too much. Anyway, you included the poster. And the poster is brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because it shows her just standing there, and there's like this VHS static that goes across her chest area. Underneath the VHS static, it's all bluish, and she's holding an axe.
Right.
And it really does look like she's standing like almost like chest deep underwater.
Right. Yep.
But she's not.
So good.
Excuse my coughing.
You're good. I'll cut it.
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
The people love the coughing, I hear.
Oh, good. Okay, I'll keep the coughing in.
All right, so we both love this movie.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Censor.
All right. Censor.
Enid?
You all right?
Scotty, as we talked about earlier, Censor was my pick,
Yeah.
which means, my friend, it is your pick of the week. Your movie.
Well, I'm going to go all the way back to 2022.
Oh, wow. Really new. Okay. Oh,
This
what
is
the
a movie
heck?
I've been hearing a lot of good word of mouth about. Our friend Brad from the 5 Dudes with Views podcast
Right
texted
on.
me, and he said, "Have you seen this movie?" And I said, "No." And he said, "It's good." And I said, I actually asked him, is it a horror movie? Would it be welcome on our podcast?
Mhm.
And he said, yes.
I may know, but I'm not.
And then
Just
I mentioned it to my girlfriend Mary,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Oh yeah, I've been wanting to watch that."
Ooh.
So, my pick, my friend,
Mm-hmm.
is the movie Fresh.
I knew it. Yes, dude.
Starring Daisy Edgar Jones and Sebastian Stan.
Yes. Oh, I almost watched this today. I was like, but this might be when we
Ooh.
do. Ooh.
Good thing,
Yeah.
buddy.
Oh, that's
Although, I
awesome.
mean, with our rules and all,
Oh, yeah.
I would have counted that as your watch. Like, I wouldn't have said, "Oh, you have to watch it tomorrow again."
No.
But yeah. So
Oh, good.
exciting. And this movie is only available on Hulu right now. But if you have Hulu, you can watch it.
There you go. Nice,
So-
dude. Excellent pick. Oh, I'm very excited for this.
I'm very interested. I'm excited, but I'm interested. I really honestly, cannibalism, I guess, but otherwise I have no idea what this movie's about.
That's all I know. I've just been excited from seeing people's, posts about how great it is.
And reactions.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple movies in mind, but this is the one that, especially when Mary said she wanted to watch it, I was like, well, great. We're watching Fresh.
Yeah. Well, when Cindy will watch it too, because she'll hear Bucky's in it, and she'll be like, "Oh, I'll watch that."
Oh, and the other thing I should absolutely mention is the latest episode, as of this recording, the latest episode from our friends at Happy Horror Time.
Yes.
Podcast. Their most recent episode, they covered Fresh.
Right.
And I wanted to listen to it, but I didn't want anything spoiled, so I listened to the beginning, and then when they started to talk about the movie, I had to stop. So
Nice.
after I watch the movie, I'll be able to finally listen to their most recent podcast episode.
Definitely. I saw that was the next one. I was like, "Oh, can't. Not yet."
Yep. Nope.
Nope. Got to do it on a movies.
All right,
routine.
so there it is, buddy.
Awesome, man. That's exciting. I'm pumped for this. Good pick.
Me too.
Yes.
And that's episode 34.
That's 34, man. Just like that.
And here's that part where, man, like, I guess something, if people have listened this far, which I hope they have.
Yes. Yeah.
One thing about Andrew and I
Yeah.
is that even when we talk on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy for us to hang up and say goodbye.
It's true.
Like, we start to say goodbye, and then we think of, like, 5 other things to talk about, and then we're talking for another 30 minutes to an hour.
It's true.
It's so stupid.
I've done that where I'll talk to Cindy, or she'll come in and I'll be like, 5 minutes. Because she's like, "Let's go watch something." I go, 5 minutes. And then it's like half hour later, I'm like, "Sorry, we started talking about something again."
Yeah. We started talking about you.
Yeah.
And the baby.
And the baby.
Should we do the Omen next? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, we were.
Anyway.
Yeah, Damien. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if there's any weird birthmarks.
Yeah. We've both seen the Omen, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we can't do it.
No.
But anyway, what was my point? Oh yeah, so it shines through on our podcast. Like, it's hard for us to say goodbye on the podcast.
It's true. No one wants to say goodbye. Not when you're having fun with horror.
And on that note, see ya.
Well, bye.
Thank you for the whiskey. I'll see myself out.